Hi again, it's Sifiso from Bulembe Farm. Today I've got Alliance and Munya. Alliance and Munya are on the 14-day bootcamp program here at Bulembe Farm. Basically, the bootcamp program, as the name suggests, people come here for an intensive 14 days to learn everything there is to know about goats, all in 14 days. So today we are looking at or learning about the flash feeding program, which is essential for breeding. So the flash feeding program is important because it helps the females go into heat. It promotes the twinning rate, and those dogs are making so much noise. We take our security very seriously here. So, those are our security guards. I don't know what they've seen, right? So it increases the twinning rate. We reduce the risk of abortions, especially now as we are coming out of the dry season. The goats are thin, they're not looking so great. So we need to bring them to an acceptable and good body condition, right? So we selected our breeding does this morning. We selected 30, which is quite small for us, but we're being conservative because of the drought and so on. So back to the flash feeding program. So the flash feeding program here is going to consist of maize bran. We've got maize bran, we've got salt, we've got maize crushes, and the maize crushes are the main ingredient for the flash feeding program, guys. So the maize, you can either crush the maize or you can soak whole maize. You can soak it overnight. And the reason we do that is to reduce the risk of bloat. Yeah, we don't want our goats to get bloated by overeating the maize. We also add the salt to stop them from overeating. Yeah, it helps regulate their intake, because if they eat too much maize, they'll suffer from bloat, and bloat can also be lethal. Goats can die if they are bloated. And here we've got a nappy tappy. Also, it's got protein. It's got urea, which promotes the intake of protein in goats. But for people who are uncomfortable with using urea-based products, you can just buy an ordinary, ready prepared goat meal from the shops to mix in with your crushed maize. So if you feel uncomfortable using urea-based products, don't just use goat milk. But we use them because we use them, all the time, and we haven't had problems. But you need to be careful. You need to know what you are doing. So with the flash feeding program, we start by introducing 25 grams of maize per goat per day. And every day we increase by 25 grams. So that by the time you get to 21 days, it's for 21 days, you get to 21 days, your goats are actually consuming something like 500 grams of crushed maize. But they would have had all that time slowly to adjust to that. Other things to take into consideration besides just selecting your goats, you also need to prepare them for the flash feeding program. And I don't know, do you want to talk a little bit about what we did this morning to prepare? When we were selecting, we gave them some injections. Do you remember what we gave them? You remember? Okay. So we gave them a vitamin injection to help them with digestion, also to help them convert the feed into fat or muscle, even not just fat. Yes. So we also need to vaccinate our goats if we can, especially for issues around abortion. Some people talk about abortions. We're not talking about abortions that are induced by starvation or poor body condition, but others that are bacterial based. You've heard of enzootic abortions. Those are the kind of abortions that can be prevented by the use of a vaccine. But some of those vaccines are very hard to come by, especially here in Blawayo. So we don't normally um, vaccinate using those vaccinations simply because we can't get hold of them. But one way that we find helps us reduce abortions is what, ladies? What do we ensure? What do we do to ensure we don't have abortions? What do we pay attention to? Feeding. Thank you. This is our number one student, and of course you Alliance as well. You know, I'm just kidding. You've both been very good, and you know you've come in here, you've immersed yourself in the work. So yeah, you do well out of this program. So I think we'll stop here for now, and we'll mix and we'll continue with the recording later on.